So more truth. You notice that thing is threaded on the end of it. So he's been waiting for this whole deal. So we'll talk about muzzle brakes and suppressors. And guys aren't going to like this one bit. Here's the truth. Got to word this as well as possible. Anything you do to the end of a barrel is detrimental to accuracy. That's what I truly, honestly believe, and that's what I've witnessed. Now, can guns that have brakes and that have tuners and that have suppressors shoot? Obviously, we know they can, because there's lots and lots of them that do. But this is the way that I come about the entire gun building process and experience. See this barrel here, or that barrel, whatever? I'm going to assume that it's capable of shooting in the zeros, right? So if this barrel is, we don't know, if it is capable of shooting in the zeros, I know for a fact, and not this one so much, we'll go into this because it's so big a diameter, but if you turn a tenon and if you thread it, probably the accuracy potential has gotten worse. And it's just really simple. It's because it gets bigger. It gets bigger on the muzzle. Anything you do to it. And that brought up a question. Who asked me? Did you ask me whether you could contour it? Who asked me? Is that, you were asking about contouring? Oh, it was your dad. Yeah. Your dad asked about contouring a barrel, right? Again, my truth, and there's not my truth, the truth. This has been sort of proven. Anything you do to a barrel, obviously you have to thread it and you have to chamber it. Otherwise it wouldn't work. But a truth is anything you do to a barrel beyond the way it came, except for threading it and chambering it, is a negative. It's a negative aspect. Now, are there people who contour barrels? Like they'll take like this barrel and say they wanted to make this barrel into a sporter contour barrel. There are lots and lots and lots of guys that'll do that. None of them are accuracy-oriented guys that do that. It's just a really bad idea. And if you talk to the guys who make these barrels, if you talk to Bartland, you talk to Brooks, talk to Krieger, the very first thing, if you said that to them, hey, I want to contour one of your barrels, the very first thing they'll say to you is, well, how are you going to stress relieve it? After you do your work. Because see, these barrels have all been stress relieved. And so the whole idea, especially of buying cut rifle barrels, is supposedly they're stress-free. That's the whole idea, right? They're stress-free. That's why they were cut rifled. So if you do anything to it, say you're going to keep it inch 250 here, and say you're going to contour that the whole way down to, say, 0.7 at the muzzle, that's a lot of steel that you're taking off of that thing. And anytime you machine steel, it's going to induce stress. And so now will it shoot? Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. It's just a really, really bad idea. So we'll call that another truth. Doing anything to a barrel besides threading it and chambering it is a real bad idea, if you want extreme accuracy. Remember, we started out this whole thing by saying all of this is predicated on accuracy. So there are people that do it.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
Can you get extreme accuracy in a Ultra 338 Magnum? Not the rum, but these bigger, like 33XC.
Can you get extreme out of big cartridges?
With a muzzle brake.
Oh, with the muzzle brake. Okay, so that's where you were going. Yes, and so that, okay, so you brought up the exact right thing is, I like to say, if guys will let me do it, I don't want to put a brake on anything less than 338 something. In other words, I don't want to put a brake on a 22-250 or even a 7 mag. I have, because guys begged me to do it, but I don't want to put a brake on a 7 mag. I don't want to put one on a 300 Winchester. I really don't even want to put one on a 30 Nosler, and we'll talk for you, 300 Weatherby. That begins to also, what is the entire gun configuration? You know, if the gun only weighs 7 pounds, although that brings up a whole other issue, which is where we're going here. See, if the gun only weighs 7 pounds, what do we know? It's going to be a small diameter barrel.
Sporter barrel.
And so if we're going to thread that, pick that up there and show the end of the camera. Here's the issue. Look at, here, bring these two here. Look at these two barrels. Now look how much steel there is around the hole in this barrel. Now look how much steel there is around the hole in that barrel. Right? So if you have to put a brake on and you don't want it to affect your accuracy, putting a brake on this, look how much metal there is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of steel, right? So the chance, it's still, remember our rule, if you machine steel, it's still going to move. Something's going to happen, right? But it might be almost microscopic. Where if you take a barrel, say that measures, I don't know, say it measures 0.7 at the muzzle, and say it's a 30 caliber barrel. Now you got a 308 hole in it, right? So you already have a 308 hole. Let's use round numbers. The hole in the middle is 300. The barrel's only 700, right? That's only 400 total. So there's only 200,000 of steel around your bore now, right? So you thread that down, it gets bigger, it becomes like a trumpet. What do you play?
I play trombone.
Trombone, okay, but still, that same big type end on your brass instrument, right? Again, we don't want to have ironclad rules, but for the most part, if you do that, if you thread a small contour diameter barrel, you probably gave up accuracy because there's not enough steel around it. You get that trombone effect, and what happens is the bullet has already been swaged down. Now it hits essentially a big spot, and it's trying to swage itself back up, and that's right before it jumps out into space, which is not good for it at all. So I forget where I was going to go with that. Oh, on big cartridges, right. So by the time, I don't want to put them on 7 mag 300 Winchester 30 nozzle. I don't want to put them on there if I can avoid it. I'd rather build a heavier gun and get away with the recoil, get away from the recoil with gun weight. But by the time you get to 338, and I really wouldn't even count 338 Win Mag. Like if I was building 338 Win Mag, I always build them, by the way, to shoot 250s, always. You can shoot that gun without a brake. You can. Maybe some people can't, but you can, right? It's dealable. By the time you go to 340 Weatherby, it depends if you're shooting 300 grain bullets. I mean, you're right. That's the breakover point. We'll use that because that's your cartridge. 340 Weatherby. 340 Weatherby, even with 250 grain bullets, if it's in a gun light, that's like, some guys can deal with that, most guys can't. So okay, so now you're gonna need to put a brake on it. Does it hurt accuracy? I'll stick with my ironclad rule that says yes, it does. But I want to tell you something, and this is kind of like a well-known thing at least among accuracy-oriented gun builders. Guess what? 338 shoot. 338 shoot, and they may be, again, it's a horrible word, inherently, they might be more accurate than 30 caliber. There's something weird about, and I'm only talking about 250s and 300s. That's what I'm talking about. And for me, I'm talking about burgers, right?
Yeah.
Here, look at this. This was an experiment. Come here. This was an experiment. That's a 338 Lapua shooting a 250 grain burger. That's 6.1 10-shot group. 2 of those are obviously out. 8 of those are within probably 4 inches with a brake.
Okay.
With a brake, right? Now, did I want to put the brake on it? No, but it's a bench gun, and I had to be able to shoot it, right? So here's what I think goes on. Because 338s shoot, I think one is making up for the other.
Right.
Like if you really were going to set out to build a 338 bench gun, then I would not want to put a brake on it because I still believe my rule that anything on the muzzle takes away a little bit of accuracy. That's what I believe. That's what my experience has shown. But can you shoot it? That's the thing. Can you shoot it? Because you shoot big guns and you're a big guy. There's not that many people that can sit down with a 340 Weatherby and shoot 5-shot groups under half an inch, even if the gun's capable of it.
Right.
Because they're going to get whacked.
Yeah.
And you sit there, you anticipate getting whacked. And so it's going to be hard. So then, as a rule, especially by the time we get to, because we build lots of 338 Lapuas, most of them have brakes. Most of them have brakes. And if you want to, that brings us, that whole thing, yes.
Please put that barrel down.
Please put the barrel down? What's your problem? You don't like it in the...
It's in your face, so the only place I can be and actually like see is right here. And so I try
All right.
to move and...
All right, well, anyways, so the deal is, yes, we put lots of brakes on 338s. I don't like putting them on, but if you're gonna be able to shoot it,
You have
sometimes
to make
it's...
some compromises.
Right, it's necessary. You know, it's necessary. And here, that's yours. I don't know. I don't. So now you want to talk about suppressors too, right? You know that's going to light this whole thing on fire. So
You want to do it and start it.
how long you
cut
been
these
going,
up.
Vicki?
Yeah, that's been 27 minutes.
All right, stop for a minute, and then we'll go to truth 3. I got to get a drink.